All right, so Mickey Diamond, thank you once again. Here at Ultra Kellen Real Estate, another segment of real estate controls everything around me. So, born and raised Detroiter, you
Nope.
know.
I wasn't born here.
Where were you born?
I was born in South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? And from the Great Migration pattern, that makes sense if your parents are from there, right?
No, my father was from here. My mom's from here, and her father was from South Carolina. And so her mother died when she was 16. He sent her down to South Carolina to go stay with her family for a little bit because she had 4 brothers, 3 sisters, so it was 7 of them. And when she went down there for high school, she met my dad. We stayed down there. My dad was a military dude, so we bounced around from Georgia, South Carolina, boom, boom, boom. And then we moved to Detroit when he was in Desert Storm. And when the war was over or whatever, he came back. We moved to Georgia, moved back to South Carolina. And then in 1996, my mom went on a vacation up here. Because we used to come up here on vacation all the time, like come for Christmas and all that shit, Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And my mom came up here in 96 to visit. And her grandmother, which is my great-grandmother, stayed up here. And she was getting older. And so my mom just came home. We picked her up from the airport. I'll never forget that shit, dude. I had a Game Boy. I was playing Super Mario Land 2. I'm playing the Game Boy with my dad in the car. And we pull up to the house. And my mom like, I'm moving back to Detroit. So you can come with me if you want. You can stay here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Did she pull one of those?
Yeah, like, nigga, you coming or not type shit or whatever. And that's how I ended up here, bro. So I've been here since 1996.
So you were how old?
11.
Okay. So you were old enough in South Carolina and the other place to remember something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I look at it like this. My manners and how I'm a respectable dude and how I treat people and humble and all, that's my
down south.
That's my down south. And I got that from being born to 11 years old. Then all the extra shit, the ratchet shit, to being fly, talking, that's from 11 and up. That's all Detroit shit. So I technically would say, if you really want to be honest, I'm a Detroit nigga. Because of how long I've been up here, how long I couldn't tell you shit about back down south no more as far as streets, none of that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll say I'm a Detroit nigga, but I wasn't born here. I was raised here.
And actually, that makes sense because we talk about mannerisms being polite, not just you being raised partly in the South. Also, your dad was military.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know my dad was military.
Yeah, see
so
what I'm saying?
You already know that they'll take no shit.
Yes, sir, no sir, all that shit. We used to ask the nigga, can we do shit or whatever? And instead of saying no, the nigga be like negative. You know what I'm saying? You be like, can we go outside? Nigga be like negative. You know what I'm saying?
he was deep in it.
Yeah, that nigga be like negative, cuz.
Yeah, so my dad, he got out before I was born.
Okay.
So he was Air Force, but he was stationed in Vietnam, Stuttgart, Germany, Panama, and wherever else.
My dad was stationed in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he was in Desert Storm.
He was in Desert Storm. Yeah. We almost actually was about to move to Germany. Like, he was about to get stationed in Germany. We was going to move over there, but the war ended. So, yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you've been over there before, but...
Fuck nah.
Okay, well, if you ever get a chance to go to Germany, there's affinity that they have for Black Americans in Germany. And they said it stems from U.S. Army and the Air Force and whoever else all being in Germany back to World War II and World War I.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, if you have a travel list, I would highly suggest...
Go to Germany?
Yes, I'll put down my travel list.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
All right, so you kind of answered this last question. So whenever I do talk to people who've been a lot of different places where they're living, but I think you got here at such a younger age, for you might not apply. So military brats, typically if you ask them where they're from, they have a hard time answering you unless they spent their high school years all in one location.
One location, yeah.
And that's where they typically feel the most attachment toward.
Yeah, for sure. Because we did, with him being in the Army and shit, we moved around a lot. So it's like, I don't have any childhood friends. Like, niggas know people from kindergarten and all of that shit. Like, nah, I don't have none of that. Like, middle school, I know a lot of people from, like, when I went to middle school, even though I still kind of bounced around schools to a certain degree or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But middle school and high school, I went to the same schools. I went to school at Central. I went to Central High School over on the west side, and I went to Durfee Middle School, which is right next to Central on the west side.
Okay. So
Zach, a fun fact, Zach the Black Power Ranger, he went to Central.
Yeah, he was at that messed up line.
Yeah. But he went there and shit.
So the unique thing about people who bounce around a lot, I feel like you had a chance to experience a lot of different aspects.
Absolutely.
So you said South Carolina, Georgia,
Detroit. Those are the main places we lived. But again, with my parents and my family being from here or there, we would drive through. We always did road trip shit. So it was like we would drive and travel. We'd go to we stayed actually in Fort Stewart. which is a military base in Georgia or whatever. So we would just kind of like bounce around and go to like different places, fucking Six Flags, and they got a Six Flags in Atlanta, but this was like way back then and shit. You know what I'm saying? But I've been to like Tennessee, a lot of places on the East Coast, Jersey, Philly, Kentucky before, West Virginia. A decent amount of places. It's still places I still want to go. I ain't been yet, of course. But, just being on some passing through and going different places and shit. Chicago. Me and my dad went on a field trip to Chicago when I was in the 8th grade. We went to Sears Tower. We went to the Michael Jordan restaurant. Cool. We went to Nike Town. And we went to Six Flags. Okay. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why when I do these interviews, I talk to people about where they've been, their past, their experiences, because people hold their memories to where they were a lot of times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can go someplace, whether down a certain street, down to an old location, down to your old college, your old high school. Yeah,
and it'll bring it all back. Yeah, exactly. For sure. Music is like that too. I can hear certain songs, and it'll literally take me back to the place where I was, where I damn near can remember, or I can see a shoe. Like when I said the Chicago trip, I literally remember the Nike TNs, the orange ones, being the brand new shoe. Them shits was like 200 in like 1998.
Damn.
And my dad, real shit, bro. And my dad had just won a lawsuit, and he bought me and him both the picks. My mama didn't believe in that shit. She wasn't spending no $100 on no shoe. I remember I had to trade my whole fucking Christmas for a pair of Jordans one time. Like, I used to get a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? But she was so anti paying fucking $100 and something, and it was cheap then back then. It was like 100 and maybe like 125, 130 something at the most. But she like, nigga, if you want these Jordans, that's all you get for Christmas. Yeah. Just to make me pick, and I still picked the J's. There was the black and red 11s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a former sneakerhead.
Yeah.
So I wasn't into Jordans, and that's I being from Chicago. I was never into Jordans. I was into Nike Dunks, Air Maxes, Vandals. Some what else? Some of the FCs, Blazers.
Yeah.
But because actually speaking of sneakers, remember Nike Air Max Day?
Yeah. It just passed.
Yes. I was at a party in Chicago for Nike Air Max Day.
Okay, yeah, that's what's up. I always wanted to go. How was it?
It was dope. Yeah. That was the first time they had it since the pandemic.
Yeah.
So in 2019 it was crazy.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I remember that's when they did it around the time Sean Witherspoon had dropped them the corduroy. Remember the corduroy Air Maxes? The shit can rip off of them and all that. Mm-hmm. That was the last Air Max day I remember.
Man.